Assalamu alaikum. This is the third take. Had some little technical difficulties. Assalamu alaikum. This is the KIK with Bryan Joseph, a.k.a. DADASOULFACE. Introduce yourself.
Yes, my name is Bryan Danial Joseph, a.k.a. DADASOULFACE, local artist and musician, philosopher, roundaway dude. What up?
All right. Now, first I want to talk about your earlier hip-hop days. I think I met you when you were with the Brotherhood. With you and Nick Kipper, right?
Yep. And
tell me how y'all
Stevie.
met.
How do we meet, man? Shout out to Nick. What up, man? Doug Crates. Through skateboarding, man, way back in the 90s, like maybe mid 90s, you know, them young dudes, Lucas Ramsey, shout out to Lucas, what up? And them heads, you know, we were the older dudes. We would just, you know, catch those dudes at West High, you know, skateboarding, and they were just little grommets, you know, skateboarding, doing their thing, and then maybe switch up. Maybe 10 years later, we hooked up off of something. I don't even know how it was. And we just started, you know, making music. I started bringing stuff over to his spot, some records or whatever, and introducing him to a few more, you know, people. And he introduced me to some heads, and we just.
Now you make beats, right?
Yeah.
You produce because like when I first met y'all, I thought he made the beats and I thought you rap. But like then when I went to the spot, you made the beats and he rapped.
Yeah, and he makes beats too. So I don't know if he's making beats now or whatever. But yeah, it was one of them things. And Stevie, you know, Sec One, he was the DJ, you know. But yeah, that was a while ago, man. It was the Red Star days.
Know about those Red Star days.
Yeah.
Now people's out. So what influenced your musical taste when you making a beat or programming a beat or picking out?
Well, first of all, man, I've been making beats since probably my guy Ron Wade, DJ Thumbs, you know, Champagne Urbana. We would go to this white boy house, Steve some shit little right here, dude, and he had the ASR 10, and I had never seen it. I was like, ooh, you know what I mean? And we would have some records, and we would, you know, have them sample them or whatever. We, you know, to where we want to chop them, we would just, you know, he would program everything, you know, but we'd tell him. And that was probably like 95 or something like that. And then after that, I didn't have equipment for a long time. It was just me. When I got back from college, back to Aurora, I just started building up. Got an MS1 sampler, which is like basically this phase sampler, like so many seconds, and I would just straight sample. Most of my influences just kind of just music, you know, like, I mean, outside of like hip hop producers like Marley Marl or Madlib and, you know, Prince Paul, you know, them dudes. Obviously, you know, Dilla just left a big impression, you know, but yeah, just records, man, sounds, just hearing something like a groove. You just like, ooh, I can chop that up right here and there, you know what I mean? And
so when
like,
you hear that,
we can figure it.
What makes you think that like you can chop it up? Like, is it something, or like you just feel it?
You just feel it
in your soul.
You just feel it, you know. You just feel that groove. You be like, okay, wait a minute, I can hear this note over here and that note here. Let me chop this up 4 times, 5 times, you know, and replay that sample or whatever, you know. So yeah, it's really just this, like a sound or a groove or a bass note. Just it's got to be something in the tone and in the sample that makes me wild out and be like, I gotta go. Even to this day, I don't have nothing. I have to set up something to record on something, you know. But if I hear something, I'm just listening to a record or an old tape, I'm like, oh, and I gotta capture that sound, you know. And maybe I'll come back to it, you know. But yeah, man, sounds, you know, just sounds are beautiful. That was my first kind of like the concept of collaging, you know, like oral collages, you know, like taking like the idea of like taking, you know, Charles Mingus bass line.
Y'all know who Charles Mingus is, son. Y'all know that.
Bass lines for days, bass player, beautiful man. You know, take, you know, Miles Davis, you know, horn or Burning Spear, you know, rhythms or whatever it may be, and just like making these dudes like in your band or, you know, in your group, you know, you kind of that's the kind of the feel, you know, like, man, that would be kind of nice if the Isley Brothers was playing on this joint, you know what I mean? Like, let me just sample some Isley Brothers, you know, and chop it up.
Let me ask you this. So what local artists and local crews have you made beats for that have recently been doing stuff? So.
Yeah, I made music for you. Highest Low, Crews and Just Wise. Black Logic, my man. Shout out to Austin. Dudes like that.
Most one and Just One.
Yeah. Just One from Peachtree. Shout out to Peachtree. I miss y'all. Where you at, Carlos? Fuck you at, man. We need you, bro. We need you. Yeah, them dudes. I love those dudes. I love the dudes that I had grown up with and admired. Like seeing you still just pounding at the way of music, just continually trying. You do it. Like 100%. And you still saying things. You know what I mean? That matter. So that shit is inspiring to me. Yeah. I mean, that's mostly my local dudes. I made music with cats from like this dude Worms, shout out to Worms Ali, and this dude Text. They was out in Visalia, California. I don't know. I think Text, I think Worms is still out there. But yeah, just small amount of people. Besides that, just.
You have any upcoming things on projects that are soon to be out?
I got we had Culture Power 45. Shout out to Culture Power 45.
Wait, explain to the people like what that is.
Oh, Culture Power 45 is a record label out of Chicago, South Side. Black owned record label, mostly hip hop, soul. I mean, I don't really. I guess it's hard to categorize. I don't like categorizing music too much, but I guess But yeah, they've been putting out a lot of stuff, records, tapes. Their motto is we don't do digital. You gotta. If you want the digital piece, you got to buy the vinyl. You got to buy the physical, which is genius to me.
Nice.
I think they said a lot of people started doing that. But yeah, they come out with a beat tape, and I got one of my little beats on there, older beat. So I'm honored to be repping with them dudes, and so yeah, that's about that. Music, man, has been elusive to me the past few years, just for the fact that art, physical art or visual art.
No, if y'all looking back of us, these are some pieces. I don't know how good y'all can see them, but these are some pieces. If in the room, there's pieces all up on the wall and stuff like that, so y'all can see. Now, before we get into that, how did you transition from making the beats, doing the type of artwork you do, and what is the specific type of artwork you do called? And how long have you been doing it?
I guess I've been making art my whole life, drawing little drawings of Michael Jordan and sharks and shit, trying to sell them. People be like, can you draw me that? Like $1 or something. I'm like, bet, But yeah, I work in like mixed media collage, mostly cut and paste.
Mixed media collage.
Taking old books, magazines, or new ones. It don't matter, but I like the feel of older books. Anything that was like before the 90s, like I say 95, like something funny, something crazy about the feel of fashion and everything. It's different than now. I guess maybe the Photoshop kind of fucked things up. I don't know. Like I said, it was collage. I took to that because it's similar to making beats. Like you taking little bits of material. You're going like time traveling. You're finding a magazine from 1943 and taking a little piece out of that, putting there. You know what I mean? And like when you looking for something, you reading too. So I'm reading shit that's what happened in like when the UN formed or something. You know what I mean? Like oh, that's why this is that. You know what I mean? Like and so you time traveling. I go back 1980 magazine, looking, find material, cut it out. So when it all comes down to it, I got this like pache of history.
Is it like a theme or a message that you try to put in your art, or it just comes together?
I mean, my mind works is I'm always concerned about justice. Race, social issues in America. We've got a lot of fucking problems in America, and I think that comes out a lot of my art. The absurdity of it all, like the absurdity of racism. You know what I mean? Some of the most absurdist shit I've ever heard in my life, you know? So that type of stuff I try to tackle, you know, social stuff. Besides that, just fucking music, you know? I mean, I'm inspired by all my heroes, you know? De La Soul, Tribe, you know? I mean, like, you know, again, back to, you know, the Isley Brothers, you know what I mean? Like, these are brothers like the Rubber Room, Chicago shit. Like, that's all inspiration to me, you know? And so, I don't know. It's just like a same vibe, you know what I mean? Like, I can't really explain it to you. It's just, I love piecing shit together.
Let me ask you this.
Puzzles.
When you sell your artwork, how do you price it? Or can people go online, or do they have to come to you for a
they come to
special line?
Yeah.
Specially made?
Shows, or they just go...
Tailor made and...
sometimes people come to me. Like,
you do art shows, right? And like, you had an art gallery up in Batavia.
Well, we would do, you know, I do a lot of shows. I had a solo show last year.
Explain that to the people about the solo show and what exactly is it, and like what to expect.
Like solos. Well, solos, but you know, you know, our show will be just me in a space showing, you know, my work and, you know, basically explaining the process and seeing how things are done, you know, or the final pieces. That's really it. Just price stuff, or you showcase and you're not going to sell your art. But yeah, it's just basically showcasing, you know, your work. When I was at Water Street Studios, there was like, I think it was 4 of us, 4 artists. I had a whole room. 2 other ladies had a room. My boy Damon Raleigh was upstairs on a gallery. So, but yeah, basically it's just kind of your solo is an acclamation of all your work at that point in time, you know. So, I got a lot of artwork. So, I mean, I got stuff that's probably hundreds of pieces that haven't been framed, that haven't been seen, which you will see soon. But yeah, that's really what it is, man. Just to see where you're at. That solo shows to see where artists is at, you know, in that time period.
So, like, you're part of the art community in Aurora and the one in Batavia, or are they the same community, or is it just
you know,
different artists come together just to do
a lot of folks in Batavia, especially Water Street, because I love Water Street, my people. A lot of dudes are transplants from Aurora, you know what I mean? Just trying to spread around, you know, and get their work out, you know. Well, I used to curate more shows at Ink Bar Tattoo Shop. Shout out to Abel Ramirez. When we had the space there, we would do... that was one of my first solo shows. And that was about like 5-6 years ago. And then I started just curating other people's art, you know, there. Having DJs and group shows, solo shows. It was a fun little run for a minute. And we still may go back to it. So keep an eye out. But yeah, that's fun. You know, curate people's work and, you know, like basking in other people's work and their glory, you know. I think that's beautiful, showcasing people, you know, like that need to be exposed or whatever.
Now, the art galleries up in Aurora, I know there's is it the Gary Brown?
Oh, that Gary Brown joint? Yeah, I've never shown there, but I like that place.
Well, there's different art galleries in Aurora where people show and like they have shows at and stuff like that.
Yeah, you know, Aurora is interesting because on first Fridays, I guess the Art Bar really started it all off. Shout out to the Art Bar. They started doing First Friday stuff, and then from there on out, other businesses and other places started showing artists, showcasing artwork. And so you would have, you know, like Legacy Fitness, shout out to Rick, you know what I mean? Like, would approach like me and Alf, or be like, yo, you want to, you know, put something together, and so that, you know, that type of thing. And so a lot of people in Aurora now, their businesses kind of just showing art, you know. So I think that's a good thing, you know. I think you know, I think it's elevated Aurora somewhat. I think we need to we got a lot more to go, you know, but I guess that depends on our leadership here in Aurora. Yeah,
Look, I'm just doing the interview. I'm just doing the interview.
Man, we ain't trying to be.
I'm just doing the interview. I'm not even.
Bourgeois shit, you know what I mean? And we just bring it down to earth for a little bit, you know. We do have populations of immigrants and people that struggle here, you know, so living for them high prices and your drinks and your food. But yeah, I mean, Aurora's cool, man. There's a lot of potential. I always had a lot of potential, you know. We just got to do it, you know, together, you know.
So what encouraging words would you say to a new artist that's kind of hesitant about displaying their art out or showing their art to people, like they just keep it in their bedroom, but it really, I should say it really should be out, but they want to express themselves, maybe put it out, maybe put it online. What would you say to that artist, you know, like some encouraging words?
Man, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Just do it. Put it out. Don't be afraid, you know what I mean, to let people see your perspective, you know, or your ideas, your concepts. You know, like if you may not generate much at first. Yeah, I mean, you may be like, oh, I failed or whatever. But nah, not really, you know what I mean? Because failure always, if you persistent and consistent, you know, them failures always turn into successes, you know, because that's how you learn. How the fuck we don't learn, you know? It's like a baby, like you falling down a whole bunch of times and you figure them steps out. You know what I mean? That's the same thing. Same thing in our world. Music, whatever it may be you're doing, just show somebody. Show motherfuckers. Show your neighbors, you know, show your friends, show your cousins. I mean, damn. You never know where that shit can go. You know, so I don't know. I love that. You know, I love seeing people's talents. I enjoy that. You know?
Now I want to ask you this question: What is the responsibility of the older heads when it comes to art and music to give the knowledge back to the younger heads so they'll have like a foundation to stand on?
Man,
Or
that's the thing though.
Or do you just think it should be like, hey, fuck it, they just do what they do and we do like what we do?
No, I think I think mentorship is important. You know what I mean? Like I think that's important stuff. But you know that I don't know if it's like culturally now, or it's always been like this. This division of you know older, younger, you know, like that. I see it. I understand. You know what I mean? Because we all had gone through different time periods in this place. You know, But you know what I mean? Like we come together and mentorship should happen. You know what I mean? Like with the older heads and the younger folks. Also vice versa. Young kids, they got a lot to teach us. I don't know shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm just here trying to learn, you know, myself. So
what's up, Cruz?
What up, bro? Why you in Arizona? I'm bugging. I love you. So yeah, man, I don't know. It's important to me, man. You know, like my brother Cruz, you know, them dudes, the young cats, when I met them brothers, like, back in the day, I saw some magic in them. And I was like, any chance I get, I'm like, listen, y'all ill, you so ill, don't you understand? Keep on putting that music out, doing this, like, just anything to let them know that they got that magic, you know? So I like that. And Cruz doing his thing. Justin doing his thing. So yeah, no, I think it's important. I guess it is important, mentorship. At the same time, yeah, sometimes maybe you gotta be, let them do their own thing. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if they ask you for help, or if they ask for advice, kindly give it, man. That's a respect. That's an ultimate honor. So,
because I think a lot of people get stuck in the like position. They don't want to be the old angry man in the room. You know what I'm saying? Be like, fuck these kids. You know what I'm saying? You know, like they want to mentor at the same time, but sometimes it's like the respect isn't there, and sometimes you might be overbearing because like you think it should be done your way. Then like they got their own way of doing it and stuff. So it's kind of like a, you know,
some trauma, son. It's from trauma,
right? So you just be like, man,
you know, it's I mean, I think we've all probably been there, like older, you know, men, women, get a little little saucy, a little bitter at the youth. But I think you gotta step back outside of your age and be like, oh, we were exactly them. You know what I mean? Like different parameters on us. You know what I mean? Different parameters on them. You know, I mean, especially with the age of the internet and all the social media, whatever. I'm sure the pressure is on for these young folks. You know, so don't. It's okay to have them bitter moments, though. it's okay to break down that bitter moment, being
like burn down your own house.
Yeah.
Let me see. Cruz said something. It's the only thing about this is like, oh shit, you can't see what people say. Cruz said something about y'all been the big homies, but disappeared. Thank you, Cruz. Like, we really appreciate it, fam. We man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I love you, man. Love you. Definitely. Also, never ever be ashamed to say you love your brothers, man. The community, you know what I mean? Like, your collaborators, your partners, never be ashamed. Be like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's missing sometimes, because because then, like, I don't know about the art world, but in hip hop, there's a lot of bravado and machismo, and you're like,
it's a lot, man.
I'm the best MC in the world, and
nothing wrong with that, though. Ain't nothing wrong with
battle you, and then it spills over into some ego shit. You know what I'm saying? Where like you can't even compliment the next man for like the good project he did, or what he's trying to do. You know what I mean? Because it's all about some ego stuff. I'm the best.
Competition and this and that, but it's really competition between yourself. That's how you elevate, your art. You compete against yourself. You don't mess around. Why am I trying to compete with with this other person? You know what I mean? Like, I like to sharpen, steel sharpen steel type of shit. That's okay thing to have. But outside of that, kill the competition. It's like, it's all about, elevating yourself and competing with this. I want my next project to be iller than this next project to be iller than my last project.
Funny you said that, because of a POBUMS society, we only had 2 rules: no blunts, no liquor, and make each song better than the last song. Those were like the only 2 rules we had. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So every time we went in the booth, we tried to murder the mic, come out sweating and shit.
That's that's what it's about, man. And I guarantee you, those projects were doper than the last ones. So self, the human being, man, can be amazing. We in the right direction.
But
man.
So let me ask you this. Now back to hip hop. What do you think about the hip hop community in Aurora and the masses of music that's going out, and people doing projects and putting out music and stuff?
Well, I'm the younger dudes. This is what I need to probably do more, I guess. Start exploring, see what these young cats. Because I've heard some dudes like ill and out, man, and like McCarty Mills. Shout out to McCarty Mills, like, because I'll do some live shows and stuff like that in the summertime. So MCs I had never heard. I'm like, kind of ill. Like, I'm starting following them. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't never heard of these dudes. I got to get my nose into more local, newer dudes. But mass production of music now, like how popular music is, obviously hip hop, or the bastardized form of hip hop, I guess, it mostly is on rotation, and the radio waves. I know you ain't so fond of it. I'm not so fond of it. But that's those are record executive decisions. You know what I mean? Like, those are those people, those 5 record labels, record companies, or whatever the hell it is nowadays, they don't mind the bloods, the guns, the drug dealing. They ain't mind that in the 90s, and they really don't mind it now.
Oh, and if you didn't know,
the negativity.
Like my man said, there's like 5 or 6 record companies that own everything. Own everything. So,
spills over in all kinds of media, not just music, but all kinds of media. So of course you're gonna have this certain song played 20, 30 times a day. It's in your head, it's in these kids' heads, and they can't see past them charts. But there's so much more. It's like an iceberg, you know what I mean? Like, the depth, you know, like you don't think there's like hip hop for you with lyrics and beats and all this shit like that. There is absolutely. Look, go find it. It is on Bandcamp. It's search, scour, you know, find some DJs out there, see what they playing. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's there. You don't gotta listen to that shit also on the radio. That's top pop. I don't know what the fuck they got going on now. I ain't even listen to it. I listen to NPR. Goddamn,
man,
I don't know.
It's like, for instance, I was up in the car with my grandmother one day, right? So we put on the radio. I think it was 107.5 or the other black station, right? I was so embarrassed. I mean, like, if I get old, it was like every word was bleeped out and the whole song.
Not getting old, man.
And I was so embarrassed. I was like, what is going on? But this is the thing, is like, they will play music that's that raunchy and debauchery up on the radio and bleep out every word, you know what I'm saying? But still play it. And so, you know, so like that has to be looked at like, you know, is that programming or like they're trying to say something? How come there's no like counterbalance to that? You know what I mean?
That's because you can't have that. They tried that. Remember Brand Nubians and you know, X-Clan and all, you know, what superseded all that, what went past that? It was, you know, gangster joints, you know? I mean, and eventually the Chronic dropped, and I was like, you know, like everything was like, oh, shit just changed, you know? Like, you know, so, yeah, I mean, that sells, man. Sex and Violence, Welcome to America, Triple K. So, what do you expect, you know?
I heard it.
It's a shame, but that's what we do. I think all we can do is just educate our young our kids, and you know, until like there's more depth. Here's this knowledge. Here's this library. You know, go looking. You know, my kids know about records. They know about tapes. They know about 45s. That's my kids. You know, they 14 and 11. They, you know what I mean? They know what a 45 is.
I heard.
You know, so I don't know. It's culture shit, I guess. I don't know, man.
I heard. Like, I think that's real knowledge or real power is like the transfer of knowledge. And so when the older heads don't transfer the knowledge to the youth, you get chaos. And then you have outside entities that almost, I don't want to say control, but like focus upon the youth and say, this is what it should be. And then that's what it is. And then you got people in court for rap songs and
catching themselves up. Like,
for instance, for like district attorneys across the country, now they're using rap lyrics to hit people with RICO charges and stuff like that. So it's like, so people rapping all this stuff about, like, I got the Draco, or I did this, or I did this, and then like you get a traffic stop, and the next thing you know, you in court in front of the grand jury. You know what I'm saying? So it just,
and whatever else you're carrying in the car,
right?
So
it's crazy how they like weaponize what we love to use it against us, and then we just keep falling into the trap. So like I think it's very important for the transfer of knowledge from us to the youth and stuff like that to try to, I don't know,
a counterbalance.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's somewhat. I mean, it's very minor, very small, but
and they can do what they want with it, but at least just this is what it is.
Yeah, it's out there.
An option.
Yeah, it's an option. Yep, exactly. And I don't know, man. It's the music now makes me uncomfortable, makes me a little disappointed sometimes. Not all of it. Some of it's kind of, some of it I'll be like, oh, it's kind of dope, you know, like the beat's ill, you know what I mean? That trap joint is ill. That 808s is bump, you know, like. But yeah, man, lyrically, you know, we need more Brand Nubian, you know what I mean? Like, man, you know, I think speaking of X-Clan, I think Professor X just passed away, man. I think he just passed away. God rest on him. But yeah, I mean, we definitely need that counterbalance. But that's why that's why you here. You know what I mean? Is how far your reach is for your music is. Hopefully that circumference of them ears that, you know, listen to your music, that can affect them and change them. You know what I mean? Like, make them think differently, you know?
No.
That's all we can do as artists.
So, on the last note, do you have any upcoming art shows coming up you want to tell the people?
Do I? Actually, I don't, because I've been wanting to chill from doing shows, because I've been showing some of this work for a while. I got some new stuff framed up, but I I got a lot of stuff to frame.
Now, if people want to purchase your art and get a special art piece made, how do they contact you?
For right now, just hit up my Instagram at DADASOULFACE. You know, that's it. Direct message me. All my work's on my page. I periodically, you know, put posts out about stuff for sale or for purchase, unframed or framed. Yeah, just find me on IG. That's it. Ask. I do record covers too. But
say that again, son. Say that again.
I do record covers. You know what I mean? Like,
what record covers have you done already?
Just from a lot of my guys. You know, from Highest Low to Just One to compilations with Culture Power 45. Chris Crack. Shout out to Chris Crack. Yeah, you know, a couple just random, you know, MCs or beat makers from wherever. You know, people you probably ain't heard of, but. Yeah, I don't do that too much now. 4 right now, but I'm still there. It's just it's a lot. I mean, you get burnt out. Like
I understand.
You get burnt. I'm taking a break.
I understand.
I'm going for self right now. Actually, I wanted to make more music, so
that's what's up.
That made me happy.
So on that note, we're gonna close out. This has been the KIK representing the POBUMS Society with DADASOULFACE, beatmaker, producer, artist. Explain the art again, the type of art.
Mixed media collage.
Mixed media collage art. And he's back on the beat, son. All right,
yes.
Sir, I want to thank you.
Thank you, B.
And I appreciate
love you, man. I love you.
All right, on that note, I guess we out. Battery's about to die.
Hey.
Peace.
Peace.
Oh, also, if you know anybody that I should interview, because we're trying to put a spotlight on people that are doing positive things in Aurora up in the community, hit me up and I'll try to reach out to them if they fit what we're trying to do. All right. Peace.
Peace.